Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Thanks for joining me here today. We've got a really cool restoration plan today. Here we have a Hot Wheels Original Sweet 16 Custom Eldorado. Now this car was sent to me by a subscriber. He says, Paul, can you please bring this back to showroom condition? I said, well, I'm going to give it my darndest try. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this car today, and we're going to restore it in the original Spectre Flame Orange. So grab your favorite adult beverage and join along with today's restoration.
It's time to start the autopsy.
Here I've already got the post drilled out. Now if you want to see how to drill out the post, please go to my playlist section, and there is a section there called How To, and there's all kinds of cool things in there. Fortunately, everything with the hood is in place, but there's a lot of flea bites on this car, and that means that there's a lot of little paint spots that are all chipped up, and we need to get that fixed. Here's the base. The base is pretty tarnished, and it definitely needs some good cleanup, and it needs new tires for sure. So we'll get that taken care of. Here's the interior. Some hot soapy water and a toothbrush will fix that up. And here's the windshield. It's a little bit yellowed, but other than that, it's in fairly good shape. So we're going to go ahead and reuse a lot of these parts.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Let's get the old paint removed off this car, and we're going to dip it in the citrus strip, or as I like to call it, the embalming fluid. Make sure that you're going to go through and get all the paint off, and that means inside the car and outside the car. This way here, when you go to put that new paint job on there, you won't see several different colors, and your workmanship will seem awful shoddy. Let's go ahead and let that set, and we'll get back to it later. Now, later on, after I cleaned it up and used the Zepti greaser on there, I sprayed a base coat of the base silver from the Redline shop, and now we're going to hit it with the Spectre Flame Orange. And make sure that you mix your hardener properly. The mixture is 5-to-1. Now, I personally use 4-to-1, but that's just me. All right, we went ahead and sprayed it with the Spectre Flame Orange. Look at the shine on that car, and that's the way it's going to harden up too, and keep that shine. Now later on, if you wanted to put any kind of decals on there, you'd have to clear coat over them to protect them, but that Spectre Flame Orange is fantastic. Look how nice that looks, and that's without any clear coat. I absolutely love Spectre Flame paints from the Redline shop.
Someone is being exhumed.
Alright, we got that all taken care of. It's sat for over 24 hours. Now we're going to tape off the roof, and we're going to make the roof look like it's got black vinyl. So get yourself a low-tack tape. Now the tape I'm using here is from Tamiya, but you can find a bunch of other low-tack tapes on different hobby stores. But make sure that you're taping off the entire area that you do not want painted, and it will turn out fantastic. Let's go ahead and speed this up. We've got that all taped up. Now we're going to use the Spectra Flame black vinyl paint. Now this paint here, this is one of the few paints where, one, you don't mix hardener with it, you don't thin it down, and you can use it directly out of the bottle. Just make sure you use light mist coats, and then of course, like I said before, ensure that the area that you want to have protected is taped off, because it will leach underneath the tape if you don't have it secured properly. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Just make sure you don't put this paint down too heavy. Once it's covered, that's it. But let it set for just a moment or two after you're done, so once you pull the tape off, it isn't as wet and it'll smear on you. So just take your time. Just don't let it harden all the way, because it will leave a hard edge if you sprayed too much paint down. That should be just about it right there. That's looking pretty sharp. Let's go ahead, let that set. Now we're going to go ahead and take that tape off. And again, be careful. And you want to use low-tack tape here, folks, because if not, it may grab a hold of your paint and rip the paint off, and then you're going to start to say all kinds of curse words. So make sure that you take your time with this, and your paint job will come out looking fantastic. Man, like I said, I hate to keep gushing about it, but I love those products from the Redline shop. Now, there's other brands of paint too. You can get your paint from Second Chance Redlines, where they have the Retro Flame, and you can get them from Bright Vision, where they have the Nitro Flame paints. And all those paints are really good products. That's looking super sharp. Now remember, at this point, the black paint that you just sprayed down, unless you let it set overnight, is still a little bit soft, and you could get your fingerprints in there. So please be careful when you're taking the tape off, and don't get your fingers in that paint, because you could leave a big fingerprint right in the middle of it. Put that back in your cabinet, and if it doesn't hurt, let it set at least overnight if you can. It'll get it nice and hard. But that looks good. Nice clean edge there in the back. Everything looks fantastic. Now we're going to clean the base, and we're going to use this Flitz Metal Pre-Clean. Now, instead of doing the Lime Away and water, the 50-50 mixture, you just use this spray. But you don't let it set. You have to get in there and start scrubbing it immediately. Scrub it on down with a brass brush. Don't use a steel brush because it's too harsh. You could even get in there with steel wool if you wanted to, but this works out pretty darn good. Spray it down, and it'll take that tarnish off almost completely. That's looking real good. Now when we're done with this, we're going to take it to the sink. We're going to rinse it off and dry it off. And if you want to polish it, it'll be ready for polish. That should just about do it. All kind of foamed up there. So get it to the sink and get it cleaned off. And this is what it looks like when you're done. Now, right there, you could use it the way it is. But if you wanted to polish it up, you could polish it up super, super nice. But it's ready to go. Now it's time to change out the tires. I got my replacement tires from the Redline shop. And I'm going to replace these ones with 4 medium meats. And that'll get this taken care of. Use your thumbs and use equal pressure on both sides. Now, if there's any kind of resistance or your wheels are real sloppy, don't do this, folks, because you're liable to pull that bearing right off. Go ahead and cut the wheels off and then replace them with the new ones. But just be careful, okay? Because, like I said, these cars are over 50 years old. You want to do a real nice restoration on these things. But if you're not careful, you're going to break the car. And once it's broke, it's not going to be a fun thing for you. So we put on these 4 medium meats. We go ahead and get that wrench in there. And then push it on with your thumb. Now don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that like button. If you're getting anything out of these videos, it sure helps me out. So go ahead and click that like button, and again subscribe, because we got a whole bunch more videos coming up here in the near future. Let's get this last tire on. Using this red line wrench, put it between the bearing and the body, and then push it lightly on with your thumb. Now we got to straighten that out so it doesn't take a hard right corner here. But that's easy enough to fix. Don't forget to hit the Redline shop at redlineshop.com. Good stuff there, folks. I love the paint, I love the wheels, I love the decals. Great, great stuff. Get yourself some today. Alright, well here's the finished body. That looks fantastic. Got the vinyl roof, that looks great. Here's the base with these brand new wheels. We cleaned up the base with the Flitz metal pre-clean. And these beautiful wheels from the Redline shop, that looks great. Here's the windshield. Like I said, it's a little bit yellowed. You could soak it in peroxide if you wanted to, but it's alright. Here's the interior all cleaned up. Let's put it together and give our creation life.
Life! Life, do you hear me? Give my creation life!
And here's what we started with. This Hot Wheels Sweet 16 Custom Eldorado. Now this has definitely been used over the years, but it's worth saving. And as I always say, folks, you can do this too. Get yourself some cars, practice your techniques, and you can be on your way to enjoying this hobby like myself and thousands of others are doing today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we got all kinds of tips and tricks and hints, and there's a lot of other folks out there too that do this and give you some great tips. So please check them out also. But what a fantastic restoration. And here's the result. Look at how beautiful this car turned out. We started with a Redline Hot Wheel that was pretty darn tired. We took it apart, we evaluated what we needed to do. We stripped it down, we repainted it, we did up the details, put some brand new tires on there from the Redline shop, that beautiful orange Spectre Flame paint, and that black vinyl roof paint also from the Redline shop. We put it all back together, and this is a car that you would be proud to have in your collection. Now some people call these filler cars, etc., but I would rather have a filler car that looks like this than one that looks like trash. And again, as I say, you can do this too. Follow the videos, ask questions, get a hold of me if you got any questions that I can help you out with, and let's get you started on your hobby today. This was a lot of fun and I truly enjoyed it. I've got a bunch more videos coming out, and if there's something you'd like to see, please don't hesitate to reach out. This was a good time, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, hit that like button. This is Paul from Diecast Graveyard. Don't forget to check out my merchandise in the links in the description section, and there's all kinds of cool things there. Thank you so much, and cheers.